Okay, we're going to go through the PCS for 3M coding. So let's go ahead and get signed in. So NEI 001 and AHEMA, all caps, pound 19. Again, this password could change, so always check announcements. Okay, so it brings me to this right here. And what I want to do, I want to go to the integrated codebook. Okay, with this, let's just go ahead and take a couple look here. We have the diagnosis, if we remember that right. We have the drugs. So again, instead of the table of drug and chemicals, we have the drugs here, our external cause tab, our neoplasm tab, and then our procedure tab that we want to do. Okay, so from the last lecture, we talked about how to find codes and diagnosis codes. So now we are going to concentrate on PCS codes. Again, PCS codes are only used as an inpatient. So let's go to out of your ICD-10 coding and ICD-10 PCS coding handbook from your last year. You're going to go to chapter 10. You're going to go to exercise 10.1. Okay, so with this, let's just kind of run through. Let's start off with number 4. We have a laparoscopic total right oophorectomy. So, a couple of different things. You can put in oophorectomy and see what happens. Oophorectomy, okay, so we have to decide at this point, was it an excision or a resection? Okay, a couple of different things here. Excision means they only took out part of it. We know it's going to be resection since it says total. So we're going to click on 0 UT. All right. So with that, we know it's the right ovary. So I'm going to click 0. And we know it was percutaneous endoscopic. And then it's going to be ZZ, no qualifier, no qualifier. So for the answer, which you would have in front of you, but I just kind of ran through it just so you remember how to use this. We'll go through another one. So let's go ahead and go to 10.3. Okay, so let's clear all. We're still in procedure link. Okay, so 10.3. So this one here we have, let's go to 10.3, number 5. We have a closed reduction of dislocation of the right shoulder joint. With this, we want to, what is the root, which is going to be reposition. Okay, so I have reposition pulled up, and then I'm going to go ahead and put in shoulder. Okay, which it's not taking me to shoulder. So I am going to go down to, what's the other part that we want to talk about? If it's not a shoulder, it's going to be what area. Okay, so here we got to look at what part of the shoulder. So are we looking at the humerus? Are we looking at the clavicle? So let's see what, are we looking at joint? So let's kind of look here. If we go to joint, which actually it's going to be, because if I have a dislocation of the right shoulder, it does say joint. So let's go shoulder, or I should say we want joint, shoulder, and then we're going to go to right. Okay, and that takes me to 0RSJ. And then it's X, again, because this is external, it's closed reduction. If it said open reduction, then of course we're going to use the open. So external. Okay, and with this, so now we have no device. It doesn't say anything about an internal fixation. They didn't put screws in there, anything like that. So we're going to go with no device. So that's going to be my code for exercise 10.3, number 5. So with that, let's just do one more. Let's go to exercise 10.5 now. And we're back into, this is just kind of a good example since we went through it already, clear all. And we're back into number 6. We have partial removal of the right ovary. So let's just go excision, because we know excision is partial removal. And we have ovary. Okay, and we know it's the right. That takes me to 0UB 0. And we know again it tells us it's open. And ZZ. All right, so hopefully this is a good review. The biggest thing I want you to do is make sure you review your root operations, the approaches, the devices, and I do have handouts and shared files for a lot of this. So make sure you take the time, review them. Review my past PowerPoints where I kind of, briefly went through them. And good luck and get started on your PCS assignments. A lot of these should be fairly easy. Make sure you take note of where you're at in your 3-2-1 book and what root operation it's asking for. That way you're not all over. If you have any questions, go ahead and send me an email.